Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My Consultant. Today we're going to break down Canada's booming population growth, followed by the new IRCC analytics. Next, Air Canada's expansion of international routes. Stay with us as I express Canada's interest in reuniting families. And Tina will explain the importance of age in immigration.
For a long time, Canada has been the top choice for immigrants to start a new and promising life. And now, it is clearly visible with the growing population. According to the recent report released by Statistics Canada, the country is seeing its highest population growth rate since 1957, mostly driven by immigration. International migrants accounts for 94.5% of this population growth, an increase by around 270,000 people. If current trends continue, in 2041, half of the Canadian population will be made up of immigrants and their Canadian-born children, which could be somewhere between 23.7 and 25.9 million. It is also anticipated that in 2041, the majority of immigrant population would continue to reside in metropolitan areas. Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver would remain the three primary areas of residence for immigrants. The Canadian government has set a target to bring in a record number of new permanent residents, more than 1.3 million over the next 3 years, as immigration is one of the main drivers for Canada's economy and accounts for almost all of its employment growth.
The IRCC is back with new improvements to better support its clients. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, the IRCC, has recently announced new efficiencies to help IRCC officers process visitor record applications. A visitor record is a document issued to you by either a Canada Border Services Agency or the IRCC to extend or restrict your stay in Canada. If you wish to stay in Canada for more than 6 months, you have to tell a Border Services officer. By expanding the use of advanced analytics and other automated technology, the IRCC will better be able to sort and process all visitor record applications. This tool helps accelerate the IRCC's work by identifying routine applications for streamlined processing. When the tool finds routine applications, it can decide if the applicant is eligible. It then proceeds to send the file to an officer to decide if the applicant remains admissible to Canada, and then make the final decision. This tool cannot refuse or recommend refusing applications. IRCC officers will always make the final decision to approve or refuse applications. The advanced analytics tool works by using the rules developed with IRCC officers or through machine learning based on data from previous IRCC files. This tool is reviewed routinely to make sure it is working as intended and that results are consistent with applicants that receive a full human review. Now, for cases that are not considered routine, the automated tool helps sort and assign cases based on their level of complexity. It then proceeds to send the case to officers for a full individual assessment and decision. It also provides case notes to summarize basic application information for the officers. This automated tool takes on most of the clerical and repetitive tasks related to sorting applications. This maximizes the IRCC officers' efforts in assessing applicants and making the final decision. These expected results grant quicker decisions for clients and an overall faster processing time for visitor record applications.
As Canada's air travel continues to improve and rebound from 2 years of pandemic, the travel demands have now significantly increased. In order to meet travelers' needs, Air Canada has decided to expand its services by adding more international routes. The airline has announced new European routes and plans to resume select routes to Japan this summer. It will also increase frequency to current international routes in Pacific, Atlantic, and South American regions, including flights to Tokyo Narita, Frankfurt, and Dubai. On October 1st, Canada ended all its COVID-19 travel restrictions. Travelers now don't have to show their proof of vaccination or their report of COVID-19 test. Also, to reduce wait times at the airports, Canadian Air Transport Authority has hired over 2,000 screening officers. As a result, Canada's air travel conditions have drastically improved and encouraged many people to travel who have been waiting since the beginning of the pandemic. This new announcement of adding more international routes is a part of Air Canada's plan to expand its global services in response to the increasing demand for travel.
The IRCC recognizes that family is the most important thing. It's everything. That is why Canada is proud of its family sponsorship program, which allows Canadian citizens and permanent residents the option to bring their parents and grandparents to Canada as permanent residents. But it does not stop there. On behalf of the Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, members of Parliament recently announced that the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, the IRCC, will continue to reunite families by accepting up to 15,000 complete applications for sponsorship under the Parents and Grandparents program this year. The IRCC has begun sending out the 23,100 invitations to apply to interested potential sponsors in hopes to reach their goal of 15,000 applications. Invitations will be sent out over the course of 2 weeks, so around early next week, the final invitations will be sent out. Due to the number of interest to sponsor forms remaining in the pool of submissions from 2020, the IRCC will send the invitations to apply to randomly selected potential sponsors in that pool, rather than open a new interest to sponsor form. This was the same approach taken in the 2021 intake. Anyone who submitted an interest to sponsor form in 2020 but did not receive an invitation to apply in January 2021 or September 2021 is encouraged to check the email account they provided when they submitted their interest. As with last year, those invited to apply as part of this process will use the new Permanent Residence Portal or the Representative Permanent Resident Portal. This allows applications to be submitted electronically. Understanding that many potential sponsors may have experienced financial difficulties in recent years due to the pandemic, the IRCC will once again use a lower income requirement for sponsorship of parents and grandparents. For the 2020 and 2020 tax years, the income requirement for sponsors will be the minimum necessary income instead of the minimum necessary income plus 30%. Regular employment insurance benefits and temporary COVID-19 benefits will be allowed to be included towards the sponsor's income. These measures will ensure that sponsors and applicants are not unfairly penalized for a temporary loss of a sponsor's income during the pandemic. The Honourable Sean Fraser, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, was quoted saying that family reunification is an essential part of Canada's immigration system. Building on recently announced enhancements to the Parents and Grandparents Super Visa, opening a Parents and Grandparents Program sponsorship intake, and accepting up to 15,000 applications in 2020 demonstrates the government's commitment to reuniting families while strengthening Canada's immigration system. Those who wish to reunite with their parents and grandparents in Canada but were not invited this year may consider having their parents and grandparents apply for a super visa. A super visa is a multiple entry visa that is valid for 10 years. Implemented in the summer of 2022, super visa holders can stay in Canada for up to 5 years at a time, with the option to extend their visit by 2 years at a time without leaving the country. These changes will make it easier for Canadian citizens and permanent residents to reunite with their parents and grandparents in Canada for a much-needed, longer period of time.
Age is not just a number when it comes to Canada's immigration. One of the world's most immigrant-friendly countries, Canada is a top choice for people across the globe who are looking forward to start a new life. Every year, the country invites a record number of immigrants. Although one of the biggest problems in the immigration application process is age-based criteria, due to which many candidates are at disadvantage, even if they have all the qualifications Canada is looking for. Now let's understand how age plays a crucial role in Canada's immigration application. In the Express Entry Pool, CRS is a point-based system that scores a candidate's profile in order to rank the applicants. Only if the candidate is able to score above the CRS cut, he or she might get an invitation to apply. There are several factors in the evaluation process, such as age. The score falls for any candidate who is above the age of 44. As Canada's comprehensive ranking system, that is CRS, does not give any points to those above the age of 45. Under the CRS score, candidates can get a higher score if they are single and fall under Express Entry category. However, the score falls dramatically for those above the age of 44. Not only that, starting from the age of 40, the points reduce by 10 versus 5 because of the age of 40. While a 29-year-old can get a maximum of 110 CRS points for age, an applicant of a similar caliber approaching their 30th birthday may see a sharp decline. By the time they reach 39, just 55 points are available, and by the time they reach 45, there are no points. Under Express Entry's FSWP, the applicant's age is worth 12% of the overall selection process. You might be wondering that why does Canada prefer younger candidates? Well, it is because the major section of its workforce has either retired or will be retiring in the next couple of years. With unemployment rate rising to 5.2% last month, Canada is currently facing nearly 1 million job vacancies. In the past few months, healthcare has lost around 35,000 jobs due to people getting retired. Transportation industry is also going through young workforce shortage as more and more drivers are aging and therefore retiring or contemplating a different lifestyle. Immigration seems to be the right approach in resolving this issue of younger workforce shortage. A recent census report shows that young immigrants are helping boost Canada's population growth. The numbers of youth has increased by 8.6% between 2016 and 2021 due to immigration. This is why Canada's immigration programs are encouraging youngsters across the globe to build a promising career in the country. If you are above the age of 44 and looking forward to move to Canada, don't lose hope. You may not get any points under the age factor, but you can still get good amount of points under other factors such as job offer, skills, and language abilities. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you really like this video, then please support us by subscribing to our My Consultant YouTube channel. You can also visit our website myconsultant.ca, where you can find an authorized immigration and citizenship consultant. I am Tina Batra.
And I'm Tashina Thompson. And we'll see you next week.